Hey everybody, we're here with Mitch Frizzell at CMH Bugaboo, and we are in the ski room. Notice the awesome selection of powder skis we have here. And Mitch, I wanted to chat with you today about powder skis, and in particular, what powder skis, if someone is coming to ski, heli ski here in CMH Bugaboo, and you're a beginner, what ski would you typically recommend to them? And then what's another ski that you think is pretty fun and awesome that you're jazzed to talk about?
So we have a pretty full lineup, like you just showed at here at CMH. All of them are gonna have a wider underfoot than most people would be used to with their regular resort ski. Going from right to left, we're looking at 132 all the way down to 109, and generally people kind of stick to 102 and below down on the resort. So the reason for that being we have really deep conditions here, and always fresh lines. So to help people get used to the float that they need, and the depth of snow that we have, I'd say these K2 crescendos are great as an absolute first time heli skiing, or even if it's not your first time, if it's a really deep day, this 132 is going to give you all the float you need to be able to get down the mountain, not hold up the group, and just have a great time. That being said, with these being as wide as they are, as the snow conditions go down, these become kind of a boat on your feet.
For sure.
So if you're not used to deep conditions, these are amazing for you, but as you get more used to it, we're gonna move down to something like the Blizzard Spur.
And what is it about the Blizzard that you enjoy?
So the Blizzard Spur back in 2021, CMH actually went to the design room with Blizzard to make these skis for heli skiing, and for the product that we give here at the lodge. It's a little narrower underfoot. It's 122, I believe, could be 125. But it's a little more maneuverable. It's got a little more camber to it. It's not quite as fat. If you look at the rocker,
Yep.
it's less aggressive, but it's still got that underfoot to keep you floating. Most of our guys run these skis. They're purpose built for getting you down the mountain for the conditions that we have here. So I'd say this first to get used to floating.
Yeah.
This next turns great in the trees. A lot more gives you a lot more pop in your turns. Less boaty is the best way I can say it. And yeah, this is probably our most used ski. I've had 2 people ever switch off this ski.
Yeah.
They'll try lots and lots, but if you're just here to have a good time, this is the ski for you.
Nice. And we noticed that a lot of the guides were skiing that out there, and I talked to them out on the hill, and they just expressed a lot of comfort with the ski, predictability, and when they're working, they're working hard, and so they want a ski that's going to allow them to navigate as easy as possible and conserve that energy for when they need it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk now about these skis in my experience, and I'm going to hand the camera over to you, Mitch.
Ow.
All right, so what I'm going to do is give my take on the skis from my point of view. So the first two that Mitch mentioned, Crescendo and the Blizzard, I skied those last year at Adamance. And I would also say that with the Crescendo, this is the ski that they started me off on day one. And just like he said, the goal was to take a complete beginner, give them a lot of float, set them up for success in the beginning of the trip in the very, very deep, deep snow. And what I noticed about the ski was it did float really well. And in the high alpine, when we had these nice rolling, open blades, I could bounce on it and be like, it was like being on a trampoline where it'd be like, womp, womp, womp. And then you get a little bit of rotation, and it was super fun. I've never felt anything, never experienced that kind of bouncy thing. But then, just like Mitch mentioned, there's lots of places where you have a traverse and there's like a very tight little line. And I did find it difficult to try to use the ski in more of a conventional resort kind of way to try to control my speed, because you've got these giant boats on your feet, and I found that a little discomforting. So on the one hand, the float was really cool, but then I lacked some of the nimbleness that I enjoy, or that I trust as a skier. I did try the Blizzards on day 2, and honestly, like, the ski didn't really like speak to me. But I gotta be honest. I was so overwhelmed in my second day of skiing out in those conditions, and I don't think I gave this one a fair try. So I want to try this one again sometime soon. All of the guides were on the ski, so I kind of trust their judgment. So I want to try this one again. This trip, I started off on the Atomic Mavericks, and only because I was told when I was coming in that they didn't have the Blaze in a 116, 115, somewhere in there. They had it like a 106, and I didn't want to start on a day one on a skinny ski. And then I got here and they had the 114, so I was like, oh man. But I went out on this one first. One of the things we talked about earlier is some of this rocker that's going on. And this ski has a lot of rocker up front here. And one of the things I noticed with my style of skiing was that rocker definitely helped the ski plane up on the snow. But it also I kind of felt like the skis were running away from me a little bit. And Mitch and I have talked off camera a little bit about that. And it turns out that this ski was designed for like big line Alaska skiing. And the designer of the ski, he tends to really get forward, really attack. So I might give this one another try sometime. With the mentality of like, you got to really be attacking on this one and really forward, so you get that pressure point way up here somewhere, so that the ski works. I did feel like it was a little grabby a little bit on the edges. All of this could just be my own personal flaws in my own personal technique, etc. The ski that I finished in adamants on was the Völkl Blaze. This ski felt the most comfortable to me, and then on this trip I went back to this ski, and my skiing has gotten so much better in the powder. One of the things that I really like about this ski is notice that it has less of the rocker up here, and what that's helping me do, I find that with a ton of rocker, when I'm driving the ski forward, I'm not getting as much engagement here, but with this ski, as soon as I drop this big shovel in there, I'm getting engagement in the snow right here on this part of the ski. And what that does is help me get the tip in the snow, and it helps me start to shape the top of the turn, just like I would with like a resort ski, like a carving ski. So this ski initiated the turns for me a lot more predictably for the kind of ski that I'm used to skiing back home. And I think Mitch had even said this is kind of a skier ski, and maybe that's why.
For everything.
Really enjoyed the Völkl Blaze, and then on the last day, I wanted to try something a little more aggressive, so I went to the Atomic Backland 109, and I only did a half day on these skis. These skis were very similar to me to the Maverick in many ways. They definitely were shooting away from me again. I don't think maybe I was aggressive enough with them. We also had different snow conditions, so we had a lot of the snow bombs that were falling out of the trees and packing the snow down, so the snow conditions were a little quicker, a little faster. But I definitely noticed on these skis were zooming away from me, and they are lighter, so I was able to kind of like pivot quickly and try to slow myself down. But that's how I felt like I was skiing all day on these, was kind of reacting. And then at lunchtime, I switched back to the Völkls, and even the guides were like, "Wow, that ski really fits you, Michael. You know, you seem way more comfortable on it." And so for me, at the end of 2 trips to CMH, the Völkl Blaze has been, for my style of skiing, has been the clear winner. Many thanks to Völkl for designing a really nice ski. I feel like the balance point on this one is kind of like in here somewhere. Like I feel like I'm pressing the ski in here into the snow. I get a nice round, predictable turn, and it works in all conditions. That's another thing that, you know, each of these skis has some trade-offs. This is the one that when I was going through, whether it was wind blown or the deep powder or trees or with the snow bombs or whatever, this one gave me the most predictable, reliable performance that I could really trust and benefit from. So those are my thoughts. Those of you who are watching this, you should definitely come see Mitch at CMS Bugaboo and come out here. They're getting nuked on right now. So there's some really sweet fresh powder for you to come ski. So come on out and enjoy the fun. Thank you and God bless.